Well, hey everyone. Welcome to another episode of 1025. But wait a minute. I want to point out the obvious. Some of you are thinking, is there a glitch with the recording? Because it seems like you're upside down. And yes, even though this is April Fool's Day, I want you to know this is not a joke. This is intentional on my part. Because right now, in the midst of COVID-19, it seems like there are a lot of things that are upside down in the world. There are a lot of things that aren't the way that they should be. There are a lot of things where if you ask the question, how does God intend humans to flourish in society? There's a lot of things right now where this isn't the way that it should be. And yet, maybe I should flip around the camera. That's better. And yet, I believe that God is up to something good. And that takes us to our confirmation scripture shout out for the day. This one goes out to Maddie. The verse that you chose was Romans chapter 8, verse 28, which says, and we know that God works together for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. You know, essentially, it boils down to this truth. Not everything is good. And yet God is able to bring good out of everything. You know, right now, I think we can look at what's happening with COVID-19 and we can say, yeah, there's a lot of things about this virus that are not good. The fact that thousands of people are contracting it every day and hundreds are dying, that's not good. The fact that this is shutting down economies around the world, yeah, that's not good. The fact that we're forced to keep our social distance from each other, I got to tell you, as someone who thrives off of being in close proximity to other people, this is not good for me or for us as humans. This is not the way that God intended us to flourish. There's a lot of things about COVID-19 that are not good. And yet I believe, as Paul says, that in everything God works together for the good of those who love him. And I was having a conversation with my sister recently. My sister lived down in Jonesboro, Arkansas for a number of years. And I don't know if you heard about this on the news, but in Jonesboro this last weekend, there was a massive tornado that ripped through the town, tore apart most of the mall. Now, typically, you would think, how tragic. In fact, you'd start to question, how many fatalities are there? Not one. Why? Because of the orders to stay at home. Because of the COVID quarantine. It wasn't good, and yet God used it for good, for the saving of many lives. I think this is what's at the heart of our Christian faith. You look at the cross and you say, how can that be good? It's tragic. And yet God turns it around and uses it for good, for the saving of many lives. So here's my question for you today. I know that there's a lot of things that aren't good about COVID-19. And I know that there's a lot of frustration and a lot of concerns and a lot of people who are ranting and complaining about things on social media. But today, what is the good that you see God bringing out of this time? I want you to post that in the comment section below. And be encouraged as we remember that in all things, God works together for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purposes. We'll see you again tomorrow.